All right, so let's talk a little Louisiana Derby, and I know you've looked at this race a bunch, follow Fairgrounds a ton. So why don't you kick it off? What were your thoughts on Louisiana Derby?
Yeah, well, I think it got a little bit of spice a couple weeks ago when Owen Almighty won the Tampa Bay Derby, coming back and from the Sam F. Davis behind John Hancock, who would have been interesting in the Virginia Derby, but trainer Cox opted for the Louisiana Derby spot. Mile 3/16 will be a good test for a front runner who definitely has the numbers. I'm a little nervous about how much he's going to get bet. I think some of the shine might be off a horse like Built, who was a tenacious third in the Risen Star behind that runaway winner, and Chunk of Gold sort of came up the rail. So, to me, that's the storyline. But Instant Coffee got a really big number out of a maiden race for Brad. And that's Tappan Street has been the one that ran well in that scenario. And then he's had a few others, including Rapture last week in Virginia and Patch Adams, two sort of sharp maiden winners who I thought weren't great in their next start. I guess John Hancock, you could say, would be the opposite of that, since he did win the Sam F. Davis in his second start. So mixed signals from the Cox barn off the maiden win, but nevertheless, I think Instant Coffee is going to be the right price. So for me, bringing up my fair odds, I think Instant Replay, Instant Coffee is his other horse. Sorry about that. But Built, Jose Ortiz, leading rider at the meet by far, and Instant Replay. I have them as the second and third most likely winners. But given that I think John Hancock is going to be less than 2-1, the value just isn't there. I think he's a horse a lot of people are going to lean on. Pratt up, there's plenty to like, but I'm going to try to beat him. And I think you can get away with just using Built and Instant Replay.
Interesting. And so, and your thought on Instant Replay is just that, you ran a big number with that win. You're just feeling like this is the now horse from the Cox barn?
Yeah, and it's one of those of, like, let's say this race had fallen apart and everyone's excited. Oh, Instant Replay, like, kind of I'll take a new face instead of horses we know have gotten beat. I'd be less excited. But because the stablemate is sure to take money, and the others in here, other than Built, I don't think anyone will be a shorter price than Instant Replay. But it's pretty rare that I have there's this many horses in a race, and my fair odds are all under 100-1. I mean, usually I'm picking a horse that I kind of feel like has no shot to use the cliche, but they might be 100 or 200-1.
Yeah.
Even at 70-1 is the longest price. That's somewhat competitive when you're going to have a 5-2 or 2-1 in here. So I just feel like in some situations with Cox, you have to eat a real short price if you like a horse off their maiden win, and this is a case where if you believe the number, you're actually going to get a somewhat decent price. So I'm willing to take it here.
Okay. And then my thought on Instant Replay, I would say, I need to watch that replay, but the number is, ran a very fast number. It does look like the pace set up for him a little bit. And, we've got 8 in here, number 8 Furio that he beat, went out to super hot pace. So I'm just worried a little bit. Was he dressed up a little bit? That was a perfect setup. Now, there's a lot of speed in here.
I was going to say, you might get that set up here.
You got John Hancock, the 4 Yinzer, the 8 Furio.
Innovator. Oh, no, he's at the Ruby Stakes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
John Hancock and the other.
My concern, though, is John Hancock does have inside position. And if I may share my screen here, let's see if I can do this. If we go to look at Horse Racing Nation and the Louisiana Derby history, I could probably make that a little wider. But when they went to a mile and 3/16, I got to blow that up. Hold on. When Wells Bayou. That was in 2020. That race was won on the lead. Hot Rod Charlie was like right on the lead on if maybe sitting at. I think he went wire to wire.
He did.
Epicenter, wire to wire.
Probably press just because he was so good. I don't remember him.
I think because I remember for Derby, I was worried how much he could rate because he had wired everything in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Kings Barnes, wire to wire, and then Catching Freedom. That was in the slop, right? Is that the one? Or no? Sierra Leone won in the slop and the Risen Star.
Right.
I think that race was a bit of an outlier, but where I'm going with the trend, and I think some of these mile through 6 races at fairgrounds, it's just hard to close. And then we saw, so I'm a little skeptical of closers. The other thing, and you could throw your fair odds back, but that's bad. My bad. That's the wrong one. But if you look at the chart of the Risen Star, the winner went wire to wire. The horses that were 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th finished 4th, 3rd, 5th, 6th. So basically, of the top 6 horses, 5 of them pretty much didn't change positions the entire race.
Right.
Only horse that changed positions was Chunk of Gold with Loveberry up. And, granted, he kind of, got up there for second at the wire and got a nice, rail trip. But I'm pretty intrigued with Chunk of Gold that basically the 6 top horses in this race, or the 5 other top horses in the Risen Star, none of them could close or move up a position, and he moved up from 8th to 2nd, so he jumped up 7 spots. And so I just feel like that's something I need to give a healthy amount of respect for. So from a betting wise standpoint, I think I'm going to be using Chunk of Gold. But back to the my concern about closers, I don't know that I'm going to put him on top, so I'm probably going to look at it, play him under John Hancock, so a 1-2. Probably play him under the other cocks that you like, the 9, so a 9-2, maybe some trifecta action. Certainly, if it goes 1 over 9 over 2 or something like that. But I do think Chunk of Gold could get a nice piece of this at probably even higher than 15-1.
Well, that would make him value for me. I was, the run style I agree with, and he was the one that closed, but then also was on the rail, which people thought that was great that day. But nevertheless, I mean the style, and there is speed in here, so he has to be respected. I do not get the love for Hypnus, and as you can see, he's my least likely winner, and I know at least 2, maybe 3. Solid handicappers. I mean, people I listen to, or even make sure I use their picks if we disagree or, feel like, oh, that makes sense. But for me, Hypnus, I don't get it. Like, he's going to have a lot to do. I don't know that he's better than Chunk of Gold late. And I just think a horse like Instant Replay is going to get the jump on him anyway. So, it all adds up. For me, it just has to go absolutely perfect for him to win this race.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think those last 2 races set up for him. He got a nice, super hot pace in the Rebel, and he closed from 8th to 7th by 7. So, I'm not sure how that's going to work out here. We do have a promotion. We've got a free download of the Super Screener for the Louisiana Derby. And I think we've got a couple races on there. And so check it out. You can use that QR code, open up on your phone and or however. And Mike Shuddy's just doing a whale of a job with the Super Screener. As we saw, was it Fountain of Youth weekend? He hit 9 out of 12 stakes. Just amazing.
Was it? I'm trying to think what weekend. Yeah, because he had journalism and he had Flood Zone.
Was Is that the name of the Gotham winner?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had all 3 Derby preps that weekend and ton of other stuff.
A huge long shot in the kill row that almost shocked the world and finished second.
Yeah. So it's a great product and big help. And so we can kind of take you through the Louisiana Derby and get recommended bets and analysis and everything. Yinzer in the Louisiana Derby. Wow, he's in a tough
Brian just
spot.
gave us a $30 horse at Turfway, so I feel like I have to make sure we.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what makes up this game. It's opinions. I just think the other speed is going to have a tough, road there with John Hancock on the inside, Yinzer in the middle, and Furio outside.
Yeah.
How does that work out?
No, it's but he will be the longest price of those, and we've seen before, like, how come the other 2 didn't go? And then you're watching this horse steal it. So I don't think the price is going to be there for me, but I certainly, if you think more of him than I do, I could see where you would land on him as a long shot gamble anyway.
Yep. All right, so that's the Louisiana Derby.